Hey, good morning. I'm sorry I'm starting late. I hope that you are all doing well and having a wonderful day. Probably morning for most of you, maybe, well, 2 a.m. Paula, that's super early. For this live stream, I wanted to carry on with the theme that we've been having where we're kind of drawing inspiration from master studies, but I wanted to change it slightly from still lifes and fruits, which I'm really enjoying painting still, to landscapes, because the weather is finally getting brighter. Everywhere looks beautiful. There are like nice shadows everywhere. I may have just come back from holiday and so landscapes and our surrounding areas are on my mind, and I thought that it would be nice to draw inspiration from the different artists. So these first ones that I'm going to be showing are actually by Monet, and I thought, given that it's for me morning, we'd take a bit of a slower pace with these ones, so maybe give ourselves 25 to 30 minutes and see how we feel and as to whether we need more. Good morning. Hey Jude, hey Paula, hey Sonia. But I'm excited to do it. These are the little good opportunity to focus, I guess. These are the ones that I did last time. There were like fruits that I did. Well, this one based on a Renoir painting, this one based on my own photograph. It's kind of been nice carrying those over. I know, honestly, Venice was amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait to go back. I really loved it. I really, 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 really loved it. And in fact, did think like, oh, I have a few more days coming up. Maybe I should go back. But it is very expensive. Very, very expensive. That's one drawback. I'll tell you another drawback which really surprised me, actually. I've never experienced this. I'm just going to start the timer, because otherwise, as you know, I could stay here chatting with you forever and not actually start painting. So I'm going to do 25 minutes, but I'll leave it off the screen because I know sometimes it stresses people out to see the timer going down. But no, Venice, beautiful. And I'm hoping, maybe it's because I'm like awake in the morning, but yesterday the sun set here at like 5 o'clock and it was a beautiful sunset in the UK, that is. And I was, as in London, and I was shocked. I was like, oh, finally, I can feel the days being longer. And I can maybe one day actually finish work and still see the sun. Okay, so 25 minutes to start off with this one. It's a Renoir painting of Venice. I really, really quite like it. With all these things, by all means, feel free to either just use them as inspiration, starting off point, or doing your own thing. That's fine. I'm going to be using gouache. Part of me wants to warm up and knows that I benefit from warming up. The other part of me just wants to paint. A hard thing to reconcile. So let me maybe just paint. If I were to do, maybe let me just do a very quick, small warm-up. This one is Monet. Honestly, that's the one thing. I've never been the greatest at checking the weather or checking the news, to be honest. And so initially I was like, oh, I'll just go to like Cornwall or something again. How bad could it be? And then I saw like weather alerts and I was like, wow, I can sometimes be completely out of touch with the weather. So, and even when we went to Venice, it was fine in that it's not like, the water was high, let me just put it that way. And I was there like taking pictures of like the gondolas practically coming onto the ground. And then someone messaged me and was like, are you not scared? And I was like, you know what? I hadn't actually thought about the fact that they are all so super, super high. Um, and then after a few days, that kind of settled down. Oh, you're good there. That's good. Paula, maybe try to refresh. To refresh, just in case. But no, it was beautiful and really, really lovely. I have a Venice views guide from my last trip to Venice, which was quite a few years ago, and I am going to be doing another one. This one because there was also Carnival, which is amazing. I haven't seen in years, but it's like got all these beautiful costumes and a really nice atmosphere. Everyone seems to be a little bit happier, you know, that kind of thing. So I am going to be doing another guide, and this time kind of focusing on Carnival. I'm trying to figure out how to do it, because part of me wants to just put everything inside it, and so I have done, like, I've already started it and done most of it, to be honest, and it's almost 200 pages, and that feels like too much. So part of me is thinking about splitting it up into separate versions. So one will be like the Carnival, one will be Doors and Quiet Streets of Venice, and one will be, I guess, the more iconic, recognizable parts of Venice. We shall see. But oddly enough, I thought I would do loads and loads of painting. I can confirm I didn't. Like, I did a bit of painting, but I honestly did not do anywhere near as much as I thought I would. And instead, what I did was a lot of photos and a lot of photos, I think, more than anything. Some videos, but definitely a lot of photos. Oh yeah, I remember. I saw your message, Sonia. Yeah, you know, as I was walking around, I'm just doing like a rough outline, just as a little bit of a warm up. I did think while I was there, you know, that it's crazy to think how much history is there, and how there are so many people that have been where I was and stood where I was standing, and not just painted it, but just lived. One of my friends also messaged me and was kind of talking about how one of the parts that he loves of Venice is that it forces you to slow down, because, you know, there are no cars. This is like in the main water bit. There are no cars, right? And so he was like, you're kind of forced to slow down to a different pace. There are no bicycles. You just have to get around on boat or on foot. Those are pretty much your two options until you get out of the main Venice bit. And so everything is kind of like at a different pace. Slower, basically. But slower in a nice way. I can't explain it. I'm now doing this almost as like a tonal study. Yeah, honestly, Jude, it is. I don't know, in my head I really thought like, oh yeah, how, like, you know, I've painted around people before, it will be similar, but it was a lot. It was a lot. Very, very very busy. And so I did do some painting, but it's just different because, you know, obviously people are quite curious and they're like around you, and it's very, very busy. One other thing, so I'm not a morning person at all. And one of the things that I did do was I would get up early in the mornings, just before sunrise or at sunrise, just so that I could walk around. And that was nice because it was quieter then. There weren't as many people around. It was like maybe mainly people going to work as opposed to people who are on holiday. And so that was like a nice calm way to start the day. And then obviously even like during main carnival, there were busy parts and calmer parts, and it just depended on where you went. Not everywhere was super busy. Good, glad you're okay. So I'm just trying to do this as a quick rough tonal study. 3 colors. Where's my third color? I wanted like a slightly warmer color. I don't know if the tonal values are completely correct. This might be the blue that I used as a mid-tone may be a bit too light, but it's nice enough to represent light, dark, and warmth. And that should hopefully serve as a nice map. When we're painting, because it like almost forces you to simplify everything. Another thing that can do this is called a notanizer. That basically simplifies a reference into like blocks of 2 or 3 or, you know, however many tonal values you want. And that can sometimes make a hard painting easier to understand. Yeah, it was, I didn't even see that bit. I was literally everywhere. And then also for the first bit, I went to see some friends. So I missed the first day. Okay, I'm going to, so hopefully you can just see that. It's very simple. Focus. Ish. Yeah, it's very simple. But now I want to try and do the painting. I have 14 minutes left. In theory, I don't know if that's going to be enough for me to do the painting, but I'm going to try. I will remove my face so that you can see my painting here. Feels like my camera is struggling. Maybe if I move that light away. So I was just sketching with the Tombow pens. They are water soluble markers that have 2 ends. One end is like a brush nib and the other end is like a bullet nib. I only picked these up because they're what I had to hand, but they can be quite a nice easy way to put color down. And as I'm looking at things a bit further, I just want to, again, this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just adding details so that if I get stuck when I'm painting, I can look back on this and have a bit of a better idea as to what it is that I'm trying to do. I'm just simplifying some things. So yeah, they can just, they're just a nice, quick and easy way to put down some color. But I just did that because I haven't warmed up. And I do find my paintings tend to be better when I do make the effort to warm up. I just quite often, and that can be warm up in any way. Sometimes it's doing a continuous line study. Sometimes it is doing a quick tonal study like right now. Sometimes it's whatever it is that gets me to put my hand to paper in some form of way, but also to like look at the reference and, I don't know, get that hand-eye coordination working again. I don't do it often enough, but I do find that when I do, it works in my benefit. But putting down some of that warm colour down. And I'm using gouache and I am still painting in my Moleskine sketchbook. Again, not because I recommend it, but because I have it and I am determined to just use up the things that I have. And actually this one seems to like have been working quite well with gouache. I haven't really painted with watercolor inside it. Part of the reason that I abandoned them is because they can be so unpredictable, and thus there are quite a few that I have that just don't work. And so I don't buy them anymore, and I don't recommend them. But when they work, when you're lucky enough to have one that works, it's nice. We have just under 10 minutes left. So I'm honestly curious to see where this painting is going. But yeah, I'm really glad I went and I really enjoyed myself. I think in keeping with what you've mentioned, because it is a lot to sketch, I did still paint and I did still sketch, not as much as I wanted, but then I also still came back with this desire of like, I just need to go somewhere and sketch. I just need to find like, I don't know, woods or something and just go and paint there and sketch there for days or weeks. I can't do weeks, but days. Which I guess in part is what the retreat will be. Adding some more white to the water. What's really interesting about his painting, I'm not quite sure how he did it, is that there's just so many, I guess, flecks of colour inside it. Whereas my water usually tends to be quite smooth, so... Yeah, the retreats are different. I mean, same person, me. but different retreats. I can't wait for either. I'm excited for both. To get to spend that time creating. While I was in Venice as well, I was thinking like, okay, could I host a retreat here too? So I was like looking into that, but I don't know. Part of me feels like it might be too much. So I don't know. I'll see. I'll have a think about it. Because it's beautiful and I love it. I just wonder if... I don't know. That being said, I do have a friend who went on an art retreat in Venice. And she, I believe, enjoyed it. Maybe I can ask her. Because I don't know, I feel like when I'm there, I want to paint, but there's so much that I want to paint that I just end up taking photos or looking around, which is, I still think is valuable because you're still like getting to experience the place. I know, I can't believe it. 5 weeks. We're literally almost there. Yeah. I can't wait, and I also can't believe it. And I feel like I still have so much to do. It's gonna be amazing. That much I know. But yeah, it's like time is flying. I can barely believe it's 2026 and yet we're already mid-Feb. Some parts, I guess I'm making up. A master, there's a forger actually that I saw on Instagram. Like he learned how to paint in prison, and now he creates like master forgeries of all these paintings, and he is really, really skilled. He also has his own like originals, but he makes most of his income by selling what he, calls forgeries. And I think, I don't know, his Instagram is something like Master Forger or something like that. But it was really interesting to see. There's even like a play about him. And he lets people know that they're not real, and people, still buy them because they're still incredible pieces of art, even if they're not the real thing. Anyway, I was saying that to say, like, a master forger I am not. I don't know if I'd have the patience to copy something like for like. But get inspired and add my own detail, that I can do. Oh, just 2 minutes left. Can't believe it. May have to add a little bit of time. Whoopsie. More water. And let's add a bit more color here. I don't know, I like the way he did the swooshy swooshy thing, and part of me is like, how did he do that? The other part of me is wondering, like, am I supposed to put those individual brush strokes one at a time? Because, don't know if you can tell, I've literally just been doing them almost like with a messy brush. So I have multiple colors on my brush, and then I'm almost doing it like a dry brush across the page in order to put down those colors. But then I wonder, maybe this piece is actually massive and he put those colors in one by one. Put some colors within the shadows, make it a little bit more interesting. Oh, I hate that alarm. It's also the alarm I wake up to, which might be why I hate it. It's so aggressive, but I need something jarring, otherwise I just sleep through it if I'm quite tired. But it's always so jarring. It's like it's a little bit too effective, you know? We'll just give us a couple of extra minutes. Just adding a little bit of, so I have some variation in the shadow colors. I'm just adding a little bit in the light colors as well. And then I want to complete the background before I add the pose, you know? So I have to make sure that I'm happy with the rest of it. Is the lighting like really dreadful? Was it like that the whole time and I was just too focused on painting? Maybe. I don't know why. It's natural light. It's supposed to be the best. There we go. That should hopefully be a bit better. Although, off screen. He put them in one at a time. And here I am sounding like a lazy artist. Like, oh my gosh, I can't do them one at a time. I've been trying to figure out, like, sorry for the camera mayhem. yeah, I've been trying to figure out like how can I put in many. In one go, but it escapes me. I would need like the world's tiniest brush. Truly, I admire the patience people have for adding such fine details. Even when I see like, you know, people use just small brushes. I rarely use small brushes, certainly not at the beginning of a painting. At the end, when I want a few extra details, yeah, maybe. Only if I feel like I can't get that level of control with the tip of my brush. But I see some people and they paint with a tiny brush right from the beginning. Empty page, tiny brush. I'm like, wow. Wow, ooh. Thought never even occurred to me. I definitely paint with a technically bigger brush. .73 by 93 centimeters. Yeah, that is massive. Don't know if that makes me feel better or worse. Definitely easier to do the details one by one, but oh my, to paint so big. I've done one painting that was half letter size, so it was half imperial sheet size, so it was 56 by 38 centimeters, and that was tricky for me. It's interesting to see how changing the size drastically changes how you approach a painting. Okay, put that here. Ooh, no pressure. No pressure, no pressure. Yeah, it's crazy, but it really does make quite the difference. And I think changing scale to any extent will do that, but I definitely think, for me anyway, it's harder to go bigger than to go smaller. It's a trickier transition. Still quite enjoy it. The movements were different. Interpreting scale was different. Even like, you know, simple things like not having enough space on your desk. Just different challenges, you know. Add some white to that Prussian blue and make the shadow popular. I'm gonna be popular. I'll teach you what shoes to wear. Don't know why that's in my head. I haven't watched Wicked. Six-footers, yeah, I can't imagine. But part of me wants to try, but I don't know if I would enjoy painting that big. I don't know, only one way to know, and that would be to like actually try. First of all, find watercolor paper big enough. Step one. Oh my gosh, or can you imagine like trying to get watercolor ground on like the canvas that big or something? That'd take forever. That's the thing. I think you have to be a special kind of patient to do such big detailed work. I like things like this, you know, where there is some detail, and maybe when you look close you see that there are more brush strokes, but when you look far you just see the shapes as a whole. Let's put in some more of these. Oh, actually, before I do that, there's extra details like here, isn't it? Just doing the background a little bit here. It's like fuzzy, so you can't really see it, so still we'll leave it somewhat fuzzy here. And I've mixed like a greyish purple, and it's kind of watered down, and I have some rough details, some not. Oh, it's I actually quite like that. It's simple yet effective, and once that's dry I can put in the other details. Then the other part of me is wondering about this bit. Part of me almost wishes it wasn't here. Like in the painting itself. But maybe when I add the other bits I will like it. I'm just removing some of the details so that it's not, I don't want it to be the focus basically. Yeah, you want to paint bigger, but space is an issue. It was actually so the lack of space was actually quite a challenge, which I hadn't thought of, but literally my piece of paper couldn't fit onto my desk, and so I had to like tape it to a board and then rest the board on my knees and paint that way, which is doable but is less than ideal. But I don't know, maybe like if I brought out my easel I would be able to do it on there. And last time we were talking about easels in general and how, you know, they're better for our ergonomics and also for seeing the perspective, like seeing our painting in the right perspective without breaking our necks and things like that. I still haven't brought out my easel though. Just waiting for honestly, I feel like I'm fighting with my camera. That's what I feel like. I feel like every time I look at it, it looks different and not in a good way. Maybe it's because I'm using natural light and the sun is going. But like it's coming and going, and not coming in a way that it's sunny, but just like slightly brighter and then a slightly darker. I'm just waiting for this area here to dry so that I can do those poles in the background. I might change brush to make it easier. Portraits are definitely easier when you paint big. Oh. Honestly, portraits fascinate me. They do. I do think that a lot of my portraits just look like the same person. Unintentionally the same like something might be a bit different, like her hair may be slightly different, or maybe her nose is slightly different, but it still kind of looks like the same person. And what's funny is that my sister saw some of my portraits that were of other people, and she was like, oh, you're doing self-portraits. So she's like, why all of them in one way or another have one of my features? She'd be like, oh, that one has your nose, that one has your eyes, that one has your and I'm like, which is completely unintentional, and I kind of don't know if it's true or not. And then she was like, oh, this one looks like our brother, but maybe it's inadvertently the faces that we see most often, or that I see most often, have like made their way into the paintings. Smaller brush, more control, so it does make things easier. It feels like a relatively recent thing that I've started changing to appropriately sized brushes. I think I did that because of the little landscapes that we were doing, in part because I was recording it and I didn't want, I wanted to make it easier, basically. But in doing so, I realised it's easier for all involved, myself included. Yeah, Sonia, exactly. Maybe not surprising, the face that you're most familiar with is your own. Yeah, it's so bizarre. I need to find it. There was a time that I did 30 portraits in 30 days as like an Instagram challenge that I was hosting, which is funny to think because now I barely paint portraits, but it's definitely something that I was interested in. And in that, I think it's funny to see. You can definitely, or I can now, looking back, I couldn't see my features, but I did start seeing like my siblings' features in my paintings. And I was like, oh, that guy looks like my brother. Unintentional, but there. Yeah, it's definitely interesting though, because, you know, part of me initially was like, oh yeah, let me do a what I packed versus, sorry, switching topics slightly, what I packed versus what I used for Venice. But it was actually so, the difference was so abysmal that I can't even make a video. It would basically be like what I packed and what I used, just removed 3 items. Like, what I used in the end, so I painted smaller. Initially, I thought because I have this urge to paint big, I did bring like some of my watercolor blocks and stuff. But like Jude mentioned, it was just too much to paint. Like, it was already a lot to paint around people, but painting big around people just felt like too much. So I didn't do that. Instead, I did small paintings. So small paintings on postcards, small paintings on like aperture cards, that kind of thing. Instead. And that worked out quite well. I also brought a range of different sketchbooks, of which I used one. I used the accordion sketchbook. Primarily because I used the accordion like C. White of Brighton one. Primarily because in it's not got watercolor paper or anything, so I was just able to do sketches. So when I had a few free moments, or when I was like waiting for our food to arrive or something like that, I was just able to do a quick sketch. And so I used that quite a bit. And that's mainly it. I didn't use the blocks. Bearing in mind I brought 2 blocks, one for watercolor and one for gouache. Yeah. I did use watercolor, although I painted with gouache more, which is perhaps not surprising because I've definitely been enjoying doing gouache recently, especially like gouache landscapes and urban sketches and whatnot. And then I did like a little watercolor on the canal, super busy then, because it was right like in the middle of carnival. That was actually quite nice. I was able to, it's weird, like, you know, I was able to just focus on my painting and to kind of, and then my painting and what I was looking at, and kind of like after a while ignore everything else that was going on around me. So that was quite nice. just adding a few small details. Make these shadows. Yeah, Sonia, accordion sketchbooks fascinate and terrify me in equal measure. Honestly, with me too, like, they feel so tricky. Like, even with that one, I just started treating it like a normal sketchbook, because initially I was like, oh, I need like a story running through it, and like, you know, I had all these grand ideas, and then I was like, I just need to sketch. So I kind of like ignored the fact that it was accordion and just used it as I would a normal sketchbook, and that worked out well. And then also, like, the sketchbook is, I think, £5 or £6, so I can come to terms with the fact that even if it's not completely a story or whatever, it's not that I haven't wasted the sketchbook. It's still worth it, and it's not like it's £1,000,000. I can get another one if I want to have a more linear story inside it. But yeah, they feel so full of potential. That's the thing. And I've seen like so many beautiful ways of doing them. But I think that ultimately, because they are together and because you can open it up, even if you do things that are quite disjointed or, you know, quite separate, they still end up looking really cool, because ultimately you're seeing your sketchbook as one. And it's that kind of thing where sometimes if you're doing a series, you may not love all the paintings, but then when you look at them all together, the collection as a whole makes everything look more impressive and look cooler, because you can see it as a whole. So I think that's the strength of it. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed doing that. But again, I think I only did like a few. I need to look back. I only did a few sketches in it. And again, they were quite random. Like, I did a sketch of the view across the canal, a sketch of a lamppost, you know, anything that caught my eye while we were sat down. Jude, yeah, I definitely think it's worth trying them, because initially I had no interest in accordions. I didn't really think they would be my thing, and then I tried them out when I went to remember when I went to Kew Garden, and that was really nice, and I actually quite enjoyed it. But then I found myself in the trap of like, oh, okay, well, I've done the Kew Garden paintings now, so I can only do Kew Garden paintings in it, and basically waiting to finish until I can do something that would fit with that theme or narrative or be somewhat nature inspired or whatever, so it remains incomplete. Then I did the Poland one, and I finished one side at least, and that was really nice. Did I finish one side? Oh my, maybe I didn't finish one side. Maybe I made that up, and that also needs to be completed. Let's see. Oh no, I finished one side. Okay. It's like, oh, so Poznan, all the materials I took with me, and then I continue with Poznan. So even with this one, I kind of at a point started using it more like a sketchbook, like treating, you know, this as one drawing, and then turn the page, this is one drawing, and then every so often I would open it up and kind of try and make it continue. Like with this one, it was like the food that I ate, and like with that one slightly by like having colors and having it be cohesive that way. But this one I actually really enjoyed. And it's so funny because this was less pressure for me than you know, bringing out paints, because all I basically needed was this brush pen, a sketchbook, which because this comes with a case, so I'd put this in the case, I'd have the pen to the side, either in here or just like separate. And then a Tombow. That's basically all I used in this sketchbook, and it just removed the decision fatigue of like, oh, what do I paint with today? You know, sometimes it's good to have options, but like Marlene had mentioned, sometimes having some restriction can make you be a bit more creative, because you focus on different decisions instead of focusing on what do I use and blah blah blah. You're focused on the painting, and it gives your brain a bit more breathing room. At least it does mine. So I enjoy doing that. But then also when I travel, I'm like, oh, I want to paint. I miss painting, so I still bring painting stuff. It's a balance, isn't it? I still don't know what I want until I get there, and so I still bring more than I need. Maybe one day that will change. Maybe that will never change. Who knows? Don't know if that's too strong. I don't know if these are also looking a bit random. So I know that they're light-ish on the painting, but I'm on the original, but I'm thinking, oop, sorry, just give me 1 second. Sorry, getting my groceries delivered. I always do the 4-hour window because it's like a quarter of the price. But then it always means I never know when it's coming. I'm just knocking them back a bit, you know, because they're so... Ooh, my goodness. You know how I was like, oh yeah, we'll just do an extra 5 minutes. Turns out that was not 5 minutes. That was 25. So this painting has basically taken me, 40 minutes? I prefer it this way so that they're not, you know... I felt like before they were just taking the focus. And I don't want that to be the focus. I want this bit to be the focus. Everything else is just like a supporting act, you know? There we go. Maybe add an extra line here. No, nothing exciting. It's just quite literally groceries. I don't have anything exciting coming soon. Oh wait. Yeah, I do have a couple of things. It just sent me something in December and it looks like it might arrive now. It normally takes, it's so long. It's crazy. By the time it arrives, I need to time it better. Anyway, so this is the little study that we did, and then this is the main painting. Part of me wants to keep adding details. The other part of me is like, the beauty is the simplicity. Hold on 1 second. I think they're here. Hey, I'm back. Thank you. Hey, Priya. I'm just doing a study of a Monet. So this was the little warm up, and then this is the painting. And oh, I'm breathless. We'll do another one. Our last one. I want to do. Oh, so I think Monet painted the same thing over and over. And this one is like called number 2, which is slightly more green leaning than number 1, which is more purple leaning. Anyway. As you can see, many times. Maybe I still want to do one of Venice, so maybe this one. Hold on. Yeah, no, because then so maybe this one should be nice and simple to end on. But I haven't got any other supplies, oopsie, coming imminently, unfortunately. Though I can't complain. Shall we do a quick warm up for this one as well? Oops. This month I haven't tracked a single painting that I have done, so I'll have to go back on it maybe later today and have a quick rough look at what I have painted. It's been quite nice keeping like thinking about it, having it a bit more forethought of mind. And it's also been nice seeing everyone like checking in. I've really enjoyed hearing and reading what you guys have been creating. I hadn't replied because I was away, but I'm going to reply later today as well, or tomorrow ahead of our next check-in, which also reminds me I need to check in with my friend, as is custom on our Fridays. So I'm just doing a quick outline of, I guess, the main shapes. It's quite a backlit scene. I don't know if it's Venice, to be honest. I don't know where it is. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sonia, because part of me is like, oh, anytime I have ideas, I'm like and ahhing about whether I should do it for ages. And I was like, you know what, let me just try it and see how it goes. But it's been working great for my friend and I. If anything, especially like, because a lot of the time, life gets busy, other things happen, and I just like forget to paint or to create or anything like that. And then when the check-in comes around, I'm kind of like reminded, or sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, like I know that I'm going to message my friend, so I will create something ahead of that, if that makes sense. And it's never been with the intention of like, oh yeah, loads of pressure or I need to or nothing like that. But it's just like a gentle reminder, And sometimes I won't paint or draw or technically make any art of any form. But then it also gets me to think about different ways that I can be creative in times like that. And just like paying attention more, basically, instead of just letting life fly by. I guess. I'm wondering, Should all this just be one block? Or should it be blue? Yeah, I know. It's so soon. Oh no, I don't think it makes sense like that. I think it's all dark like that. And then we have some warmth. In places. And maybe a bit of warmth there by mixing the two. Quick little warm up. Doesn't look like much. We'll see if it makes sense. Yeah, I agree. That's also nice because a lot of the time I just won't know how much I've done until I like look back. So if you'd asked me, I would have said that in January I maybe did like 10 paintings because that's what comes to me at forefront of mind. And it's only like through the like little tracking that I was doing that I was able to see that actually I painted, like I did 33 paintings. A lot of it was of course through our Zooms and live streams. Speaking of which, I have another one later on today, this evening. I wanted to do this one in the morning so that you know, to catch different time zones basically. So but obviously it doesn't, most people are on across the pond from us, so across the pond the other way, so so they won't be able to join. So I'll do the evening later on today as well. Yeah, so it was actually just nice to see. And like I said, I like having the prompts anyway, because sometimes I just forget to create, and this feels like extra reminder motivation to do that. I'm glad you could join, Jude. Yeah, when I was trying to like figure out the times, I was like, oh, I'm so confused. I didn't realize, or rather I'd forgotten how big Australia is. So when I tried to look for the times, it was very confusing. It's like, it's so big, I have no idea where to time it for. I don't know if I want the blue in there now, but we'll see. Whoops. I wonder how much of this I'm going to cover up. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Same with, so for the longest time I was like, oh, need a time that will also work so that the messy desk can come, and we'll figure it out. I think the easiest thing will be to just have different times from time to time. Also, I'm not a morning person, so so evenings have always been fine. But actually, it's quite a nice way to start the day with painting, I think. I just don't tend to do it. In fact, I remember once I was doing like a little random project for myself where I had one sketchbook for the morning and one sketchbook for the evening, and I just wanted to see when I sketched most or if there would be any difference in the kind of art that I sketch and stuff. In the end, I got distracted and never actually finished either of them. But I primarily painted in the evening sketchbook more times than not. Oh, when we go in summertime, what will you go, Jude? Will it be... I never know if we're going backwards or forwards. Forwards? I don't know. So let's do the shadow colours now. I quite enjoy doing the shadow colours. In general, they tend to be more fun. So it's interesting because the reference has like I don't know what it is. Is it a church? Right smack bang in the middle. Whereas normally we're told to don't do that, aren't we? Let me just put in the rough details, the darks, and then I can start figuring out the rest. Like here. And I think the darks that are behind that are a little bit lighter. Hold on. Let me just do some of because I have it on my brush now rather than waste paint. God forbid we waste paint. Let me just carry that colour over and add all these extra dark details. Because I think all of this will be quite dark as well. Like the big shape that I did here, basically. Now wiping off the excess paint because nothing goes to waste. Oh, so we'll lose an hour. I've added some white. Oh, I made a beautiful lavender for some of the details just in the back here. And make part of it dark, part of it light, you know. Details of the houses. We have just 11 minutes left. Let me take some of that super dark area. Whoops, way too much paint. Back to the real world, and we lose an hour. Going back to the real world is always the hardest bit, I think. I was saying that I think I need to like start incorporating a post-holiday recovery day or days from when I come back, rather than just going straight, back to work the next day. As much as I want to stay away for as long as possible, I think sometimes holidays are tiring. They're fun, but I don't know. I feel like my holidays are rarely what I would describe as restful. Or I can't explain it. They're like exciting. I'm doing stuff. So it's not like I come back and I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like I need a rest basically after my holidays. To like sleep and recover. When I came back from Venice, I slept for 12 solid hours. I was absolutely wrecked because I was walking quite a bit. And to be honest, not even as much as I wanted to. I wanted to walk even more. But I didn't, and I like took the vaporetto and things more so. I even took a gondola. So here's the thing with like gondolas. If you hire out a gondola, it's €110 for like a tour. If you get a vaporetto, which is like the buses, the water, it's a bus. No, it's not a bus. It's a boat, but it's like the equivalent of the buses. That's $9.50, fine. But if you take a small traghetto, which is like a gondola that helps you cross the canal, that's €2. I won't go far, but if you just want to experience the gondola and you don't want to pay €90 to €110, then you can just do that. Which is, in fact, what I did. Both times, this time and the last time I went, just so that I could kind of go on it and have a short ride. And both times I was by myself. I wanted to do a tour as well, but no time. Maybe next time. So yeah, I don't know. Part of me was wondering whether I should go back for my birthday. So, but I don't know. I'll see. But yeah, so I recommend taking the vaporettos. And like I said, it's like a short ride. I think mine was like 2 minutes or something. So it's not going to be as long or as fun. But if you literally just want to experience, just want to experience the gondola. And also like that 2 minutes, if I'd taken the vaporetto, like the water bus, would have cost me $9.50. And if I had walked, it would have taken me an extra 20 minutes because I would have had to like cross the bridge to go across the canal. So it saves time and it saves money, but I don't know why. A lot of people don't know about it, and so, or they only know about one. They only know about the one that's near San Marco, and the queues for that one are super long all the time. but you can take it at multiple places across the canal. You just need to look for traghetto. And then you will go on a gondola. I think that would be one of my main tips. What else? You can get a 24-hour, or I think actually a 2-day trip, like a 48-hour bus ticket is probably the best option, especially if you're planning on using the boat up and down, then yeah. If you're planning on walking, then obviously you don't need it. But the 2-day option I think is €35. So if you're going back and forth, you'll save money. So if you, yeah, basically. What else? Oh, I say that because on the signs say that the most cost-effective way is to just tap your bank card and go, but that's not true. It's cost-effective if you're only using it once a day, maybe twice a day, but if you're using it more than twice a day, then it gets very expensive very quickly, and it's actually just more cost-effective to get a bus pass, a water vaporetto pass. It's interesting. Mine is a lot brighter than I intended. Shocker. But I'm going to tone it down a little bit. I don't mind it being a bit bright, but I'm going to try and be a little bit truer to the painting. And I'm just toning it down by adding some yellow ochre in place of the bright yellow that I had. And adding some white. And like a peachy colour. Oh my gosh, we have just 3 minutes. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? Yeah, because it's like, oh, it's so bright. Very unintentionally. I looked up and I was like, oh, this does not look like Monet. Yeah, the one thing which I know it's shocking, shocked me, that wasn't great was the food. Can you believe it? I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know what to do with myself. It's the first time I've gone to Italy and the food wasn't absolutely amazing. I don't know why, really. But I'd say like it was half and half. Some were great and some were just not good. And I don't mean not good for Italy. I mean not good, point blank, period. I just was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Are they using cheaper materials? Like, why? And what do I do? Like, my whole aim of going to, Italy, or half my aim, is to eat. And that's genuinely what caused me to pause on whether I should go for my birthday, because I was like, what will I do for the food? Where will I don't want to struggle. But obviously, because my birthday's in March, it feels like there's not that many places that are like bright and, you know, sunny. So I will do the Zoom later on today at like 8 o'clock. Not like at 8 o'clock. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. I was thinking about going live on YouTube as well, but we'll see. I have so much to do first. So it depends on whether procrastinating wins or whether I do what I need to. And then I'll do the check-in tomorrow. Oops. It always shocks me. Which is funny given that I set it and I gave the reminder like 3 minutes ago and then completely forgot. I'll just add the tiny details, so I'm switching to a smaller brush. And then we are done. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I will share the replay shortly and include the reference photo so that you can paint them as well should you wish. I can't help myself. I like, you know, these little details that we put in the shadows, brush strokes that seem like nothing, and when you look at them far away, they bring the painting together. Like all the signs of these little houses. I even love the like little reflections that we have here. And now I just need to put in the boats. So I'll put one smack bang in the middle. Put one here. And then another one up here. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was nice chatting. Thank you. Have you done your... What are you doing for this month, Sonia? Are you doing portraits or birds? Because is Birdtober over? Was that Birdfest, Burb something? I don't know if that's February or January thing. The months are running away from me. Good night, Paula. Sweet dreams. Oh, Birdfest is Jan. Okay. Oh, maybe it's carnival, too many people to feed. Maybe. I didn't know what it was. It was bad. It was, yeah. And like the people were nice, the service was great, but I was genuinely like, what is this? In my head. I didn't say anything to them because what is that to say? Hold on 1 second. Sorry about this. Yeah, so I didn't really say anything to them, but I was very, very disappointed and confused. Very confused. Just adding the tiny boats and their reflection. That might be, I wonder if that's the Etcher parcel I've been waiting on. Maybe, hold on. It's not the Etcher parcel. It is, yeah, telling me it is a gift for the retreat. Yeah, because I was away, I've rescheduled like a lot of the deliveries for today because I knew that I would be in. I think like France now best in non-popular country places. Sonia, supposedly focusing on faces, but I've not been feeling. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not feeling great. So you've mostly done atmospheric landscapes. Don't worry, I'm glad. I'm sure the Etcher one will get here when it gets here. But I didn't expect obviously I'm trying to leave it as a surprise, the retreat gift to come today, so that's a pleasant surprise. And I think, is that the last one? I think it's almost done. I hope you feel better soon. It sucks not feeling well. And yet you're still painting. You need to teach a class or something. The other time, when I was ill, I was just laying there, right? And I was thinking, like, I know a lot of the time I see like videos and things about like, oh, creating art when you're ill, and this is my bed setup, and this was my this, and this is my. I was like, are people experiencing this differently? Because I can't imagine feeling how I'm feeling and also painting. I was like, as interesting as it would be for me to like, you know, paint with a fever and see what that looks like, I just can't. I just can't do it. When I'm ill, and I'm not creating a damn thing. So, I think this is a good place to leave it. So this was the study, and this was the final piece. I actually quite like that, and I feel like the study is a good way to think through the process before starting. Do you have a bed easel? Oh, yeah. I think an easel is good regardless, to be honest. Or an easel in general is good regardless. Then, oh, sorry, I don't know how I missed. The constant rain isn't helping. I know, but I'm really hoping that will also settle. I feel like seeing the sunset yesterday when I'd finished work filled me with so much hope. Because it's been so long since I've seen the sun after work that I was just like, oh my gosh, it's finally here. Spring, summer, sunshine, whatever you want to call it. It's almost here. Then, Jude, did I fill the other space? Yes, so thankfully, I filled the space for the March retreat. I think there will be a space for the June retreat as well. Yes, I just need to sort that out and share it. What I don't want to do is like say, oh, I don't want to keep doing it. I want to know exactly who's coming. So part of me is tempted to wait until numbers are final, and then I'll be able to say there's 1, 2, or 3 or whatever spaces, just in case people can't make it last minute or whatever. But in theory, I think there is a space in June. Not in theory, there is a space in June. I don't think the person who, there's a space in June. I just need to, I guess, let people know that. Yeah, you don't have a fever. I'd not be painting. Well, I'm glad you're not. Well, either way, I hope you feel better. I hope it looks like those. Yeah, I honestly thought they were. It helps me. Thank you, Sonia. It helps me like think through the process. And that's the thing. I feel like my paintings are always better when I warm up. Or like my second paintings are usually better than my first. And yet I'm always so eager and excited to start painting that I rarely do warm-ups, as you have seen. It's so funny that the sketchbooks that I in theory don't like or don't get are the ones that I end up using the most. I've really enjoyed this sketchbook, and I think it's because of the paintings that we've been doing, and yeah, I've had a lot of fun. Look at that. This one. Can you see? I painted it again. Which is interesting because I painted it again from the reference photo, not from the painting. And so I didn't realize that I pushed the contrast a lot more in this one over here. I don't know. Anyway, I think they're so cute, and I love this one as well. And part of me wants to, maybe this evening I will do these paintings but on the coasters. We'll see. They have me painting differently. I have to hold on 1 second. I don't know what's going on. How am I so busy today? Hello? Just 1 second, sorry. Okay, well, with that, I will let you guys go, and I will see you guys soon. Well, I'll see you this evening. Thank you all so much, and get well soon, and have fun painting. Bye.